Hello, and welcome back to episode 18 of the Career Advice You Never Had podcast, where I provide you the career advice, education, and support you missed out on in your career journey. I'm your host, Angela, a career counsellor, and in today's episode, we'll be looking at the difference between your skills and strengths. You'll learn more about what they are, what makes them different, and how to identify them so you can be really clear when you next need to describe them. So stick around to find out more, and remember to share this with a friend who's looking for some career inspiration. And welcome to any new listeners. Thank you for listening today. I love hearing your stories and experiences about each episode, so please reach out and let me know how you went today. Let's get into it. Skills versus strengths. In most situations, people often use strengths and skills interchangeably, overlapping them, blending them together, yet they have very distinct meanings. And in this episode, we're going to separate them from each other so that there's no confusion. I have to confess, I used to get these two confused until an interview a while back where I was asked about my strengths and then, in another question, my skills. At that moment, I was trying to figure out the difference as I didn't want to repeat my last answer. I managed to fumble my way through, and from this experience, I set out to investigate them further to understand how they are different. Let's begin with strengths. The strength I'm talking about is not your physical strength. It has to do with your personal qualities, so your personality, or even your character. Within positive psychology, personal strengths are described as our built-in capabilities for particular ways of thinking, feeling, and behaving. Strengths are our natural abilities or talents. They're a part of who we are and are relatively consistent over time. Using our strengths energize us, makes us feel confident and motivated because when we're at our best, we feel successful. We often enjoy using them and are more engaged as we are tapping into our potential, typically without too much effort or training. Knowing your strengths gives you a better understanding of yourself, how unique you are, what you're good at, which can help us make career decisions based on this knowledge and awareness. Using our strengths when at work, in learning, and just in life relieves stress, and it improves our confidence, our happiness, relationships, managing problems, work satisfaction, and achievements of smaller tasks. You may be wondering, how can you identify your strengths? Let's begin with some reflection, and you may even like to journal some of these questions. What are you good at? What are the best parts of your personality? What do you naturally do well? And when you're engaged in a task, what are you doing? What is it that you love doing? What comes easy when you're doing these things? And what do people often comment on about you? And from a young age, what have you always done well? If you're finding these questions confronting or you want to talk through this with someone, you may like to ask a friend or someone close to you, what would you say are my top strengths? Give me an example of me using that strength. Because I'm hoping that after this reflection, you can name 3 to 5 strengths. And also think of examples of when you have used these strengths. Some examples of strengths may be empathy, problem solving, creativity, resilience, coaching, communication, attention to detail. Maybe you're really intuitive. Maybe you're really good at public speaking. You have a love of learning. You're caring, you're patient, focused, realistic. I could keep going on. You can find a link with an image of about 50 strengths in the show notes. You can also complete a strengths profiling assessment. There's 2 that I often recommend, the High 5 strengths test and the VIA character strengths. So those links will also be in the show notes. And hopefully by exploring your strengths, you now have a good understanding of what they are and in particular, what your strengths are. Now let's jump into skills. Skills are knowledge, abilities, and expertise that you acquire and learn through formal education, training, practice, and experience. Skills allow you to perform specific tasks, and they may not have always come naturally, and you have developed and improved on them with effort, practice, and time. Skills are broken down into 4 different areas. Number 1, employability skills, also known as foundation skills, common skills, core skills, 21st century skills, or soft skills. These core competencies are the basic building block skills commonly used by people employed across most occupations and industries. They are non-specialist skills, most often gained in early life and schooling, and provides a base to further develop skills and specialties. Some examples are people skills, communication, work ethic, initiative, personal presentation, a positive attitude, motivation, customer service, reliability, punctuality, ability to work in a team. Jobs and Skills Australia suggests 75% of employers consider these personal qualities or soft skills as at least as important as, if not more, than technical skills. Which brings us to the second type of skills. Number 2, technical or professional skills. These are job-specific abilities or knowledge learned through education, hands-on experience, or training. For example, accounting, career development, engineering, programming, cutting and colouring hair, tattooing. You would want a professional to support you in these areas, not just anyone who hasn't spent time developing these skills. Number 3, transferable. These are skills you've gained during your life through jobs, school, hobbies, sports, daily life, volunteer work, almost anything. And these skills can be transferred into your next job. Number 4, lastly, is computer literacy and those IT skills. This is the ability to which you can use computers and technology effectively, including related equipment, computer software. For example, Microsoft Suite, email, Zoom, Teams, social media, and those specific software tools and systems. When it comes to your skills, how can you identify them? Have you ever done a skills audit? A skills audit is a process of assessing and evaluating your skills, competencies, and knowledge levels of yourself, and also about identifying gaps. So when we reflect on these, start with a fresh page. At the top or in the center, place the word skills, and let's do some brainstorming. Bring to mind your most current role. What are all the things that you do or that you did, and how can they be labeled as a skill as you place them on your page? This can be placed on your page as a list or the mind map that we've done in previous episodes. Just write down anything that comes to mind. Employability skills, technical, transferable, and computer related. You may like to Google the top 10 skills of the job title just to see if anything else comes up that you've missed out on, and watch as the list grows. Once you've emptied your mind and have everything down, look back over the skills on the page and highlight the ones that you enjoy using the most. This can give you a hint of what you'd like to be doing in the future more often. And as you look at your skills, is there anything standing out? You may also like to note down any other roles that you've done and other skills that you've acquired, even if it is in the past. And ask yourself, what jobs have I done? And what skills were needed in those roles? In episode 6, we connected the dots. And this is a really great episode if you'd like to look back over your career. Your Career Lifeline activity is a great one to get you thinking about the past. Taking the skills you have on the page, let's take it a little bit further. And on a new page, create a table. It's going to have 5 columns, labeling them skills, summary, confidence, examples, and needs improvement. And with your skills page, take one of those skills that you brainstormed, place it in the first column, and we're going to describe that skill in the summary in a bit more detail. In one sentence, can you put together a competence statement that really highlights how you use that skill? So the summary is just a one sentence. For example, if your skill is customer service, then your summary may be something like actively listening to customer needs, providing clear and accurate information, ensuring a positive and efficient service experience. If you move to the confidence column, you're going to rate yourself from 1 to 5. 1 meaning not so confident, and 5 meaning, yeah, I feel really good using this skill. Where would you rate yourself with that skill? In the example column, you're going to tell a story using that skill. And if you've heard of the STAR method, STAR, bring it to life by using this as a guide. So you tell the full story. And if you haven't heard of the STAR method, it relates to your situation, the task, the action and result. Pull apart the example of you using that skill. The needs improvement column. This is the last one. How do you feel about that skill? Do you feel like there's any training or experience that you may need to do to improve? Has it been a bit of time since you've upskilled in this area? You may like to continue this for up to 10 skills or the skills needed on the next job description you're applying for. And what this has hopefully done is brought to mind all the skills you do have. We always forget. And these are the things that you've developed over time. So let's just recap. Strengths are our innate talents that give us energy and make us feel successful and are a part of who we are. Skills are those learned abilities that we've acquired through experience and education to perform a task. So next time you're asked about your skills and your strengths, you now know the difference. Which brings us to the end of this episode about skills versus strengths. Thank you for listening today. I'd love to know what was your biggest takeaway, and I truly hope you found this helpful. I'd love to hear your reflections and what resonated with you the most. Remember to share this episode with those who are looking for career inspiration, as there are many people who haven't had the career advice, education and support that they've needed along their career journey, and I'm here to provide it. In future episodes, we'll be doing another meditation and preparing for the end of year review. Once again, thanks for listening. Your support is amazing and you are amazing. And together, we'll navigate this journey as you find your way, rediscover yourself and focus on taking the next meaningful step in your career.